Hello everyone, Necromancer for Kids here once again. This time bringing you the top 4 coverage from the Chef's Challenge tournament that I recently ran over on the casual Go Format Yu-Gi-Oh server. The rules for the tournament were Go Format, but you're not allowed to play anything closely resembling a deck that's gotten top 8 in the past of the format. First, I'll be showing you replays of the top 4 matches, then commentating over the finals, and finishing off showing you the decks of the top 4 players. If there's any part you wish to skip, there should be chapters in the description or on screen that you can jump to. All that said, let's move on to the duels, starting with the winner's side match of Nova and Bobby, and then dropping down to the loser side of the bracket afterward. Enjoy! now that we've finished with the other matches of the tournament, I'm going to commentate over the finals here. Now, I will say that unfortunately there was something that went wrong in the very last match, so it's going to be a little bit anticlimactic, but hopefully you can enjoy the rest of the duels anyways, and let's get into it. So as you can see here, Bobby just starts off with a single set card, and the opponent in the blue corner is going to use their X headcanon. But Bobby's going to just fire off the Torrential Tribute right away. And then Bobby's going to follow up with Luster Dragon, which could have destroyed the X headcanon in battle, but this way at least they'll be able to get in for more damage if they hit. But aomine, which is their opponent, uses Bottomless Trap Hole to banish it instead. A card you don't really see very much in normal Go format, although we have seen it in a couple decks in the past. Especially more recently. And we see a Exile Force coming down to get rid of whatever face-down monster that the opponent might have had, and Delinquent Duo to just clear out the hand completely. Draw and pass. Bobby's going to use the Upstart Goblin. And then going to drop the Twin-Headed Behemoth. A card you don't really see very much, even though it is on the limited list in Go format, because it's only limited due to weird ruling problems that come up if there's more than one. Because how do you know if it ends up going back in the deck if it's the same one that already activated its effect or not? They later eroded it so that it actually made sense. Aomine is going to use Norman to cross out, get rid of the Flying Kamakiri. And just going to keep beating in with the Twin-Headed Behemoth here. 1500 attack. When it's destroyed, during the end phase you get to summon it, but it has 1000. Mystical Space Typhoon gonna snipe the one card face down. And Premature Burial gonna bring back the X headcanon. And there's the Behemoth coming back to the end phase. And another Luster Dragon showing off that 1900 attack prowess that it has. One of the best stats for a level 4 monster in Go format. But of course, it's a dragon and it's also wind, so it's not really relevant in most decks. But as you can see in this one, it actually is. Got Brain Control coming out. Just gonna take that. Get in for a little bit of damage. And then something you never see normally in Go format, they're going to Tribute Summon Fusilier Dragon. Now normally, it's normal summoned without its effect, or with its effect rather, and then it's 1400 attack. Or you get to special summon it with Reasoning or Monster Gate. But here, we actually get to see it be Tribute Summoned with its full 2800 attack, no skill drain or anything. And here comes Sasuke Samurai number 4. And Sylphid. And looks like Bobby is going to go all in with their attack. And hopefully they're going to get the effect of Sasuke off. And they declared heads always so that their opponent knows that they're not cheating if they just flip without calling anything. And it was indeed a heads. So it's going to get in with that Sylphid to deal some damage. Pot of Greed, something that you really like to have at this point in the game, or pretty much any point in the game, unless you only have one card left in deck. Going to use Delinquent Duel, which is really painful in this scenario, but either monster attacking would have destroyed them anyway. And looks like they just wanted to see what their opponent had because they admit defeat immediately afterward. Alright. Both players side decked, we're going into game 2. Blue corner just does a classic T set. And Bobby uses Upstart. Upstart's always the worst card in the deck, because you always want it to be the next card that you would have drawn. Otherwise, just giving your opponent free life points. And Breaker's gonna break, and then run into a roulette barrel wall. Roulette barrel is something that you sometimes see because it's a good angel target. It's got 2,000 defense, and every now and then it can get advantage with its effect, although it is based on chance. Another Pot of Greed here. And then using the effect of the roulette barrel. Got a 2-in-1, so there's going to be no monster destroyed. I'm just gonna set monsters, set a trap, and end the turn. Got Exiled Force coming out here, and first it targets the face-down monster, which normally you'd think they'd go immediately for the roulette barrel, but as we can see, they follow up with Premature Burial to bring back the exiled and take out the roulette barrel anyway. Then they're gonna attack directly, a little bit of damage, and end. Got a Snatch Steal here on the Breaker, and it's going to end up disastrous for their opponent here, as they drop a Mobius after tripping it off. Just gotta swing in for big damage there. Just T-set end, and we see MST yet again. Flying Kamakiri brings out Sasuke Samurai number 4. They did draw Tribe-Infecting Virus, but Virus is an Aqua and so is Mobius, so it's a little bit awkward. If the Tribe-Infecting Virus wanted to get rid of the Mobius, it would have to end up destroying itself too, so you go 2 for 1, so it's a little bit rough. And it looks like they took quite a while to think, and they discarded the Rivalry of Warlords and the Heavy Storm. Rivalry of Warlords, not something you see very often in Go format, but they do play a lot of machine monsters, so I guess that is the thought process there. Marine Control coming out to grab the Mobius. Maybe trying to bait out some sort of trap or something. Premature Burial. Trying to attempt to summon Dekoichi rather, but it hit with MST, so no monster for them there. And they're going to attack him with DD Warrior Lady. Basically, Bobby in this situation has to hope that he can get the correct call, which is always heads for him, twice in a row to really survive this onslaught. And immediately they get the wrong call, so this is looking really bad for them. Anyway, 3 back row 2, and I think there is a heavy, but even if they had heavy, that doesn't really leave them with much. They gotta have like a Pot of Greed into heavy and then something else. But they actually get a Dust Tornado And this is going to be the end for Bobby. So remember, Bobby here is on the winner's side, so if their opponent, aomine, in the blue defeats them, it will be a bracket reset. Upstart Goblin to start. Just give their opponent 3,000 life points. And a tea set, the classic. Summons Injection Fairy Lily. I guess just to test the waters. And then sets 2. One of them was Rivalry of Warlords. Pot from Bobby. And then Graceful. Into Duo. Really hurts to get Trinitied. And of course with Duo he randomly picked Graceful 2. But he gets a little bit of that back with a Pot of Greed. That's how the fairness scale works. You get hit with Duo, then you draw the pot, and it all makes up for itself. Gonna attack with the Lily into a Mirror Force. And then they're going to flip the Twin-Headed Behemoth. Now, it probably would have been worth it just to leave the Injection Fairy Lily there, because what are they going to do? Just lose life points, and then even if they paid to destroy this, it just comes back, so it's not very good for them. And you already had a way to utilize their monster in your hand, but at the same time, they might also destroy your Mirror Force at some point, so you gotta use it when you can, so I understand. Smacks into a Magician of Faith. Pot of Greed is added back to hand. And we're moving on. See, now they get to reuse their Pot of Greed, so all that advantage that their opponent got is evened out at this point. And here comes Breaker. Gonna attempt to break. But Book Moon's gonna put it face down. Swinging in for attempting to do a little bit of damage. Mystical Space Typhoon's gonna stop a Call the Haunted, which was meant to bring back a monster to stop the Behemoth from dealing damage. And set 1 card. Takes a bit of damage because the face down is another roulette barrel. Roulette barrel uses the effect. And hits a 4. So going to destroy the Flying Kamakiri #1. And then tribute over for a Mobius to destroy the face down. And attack the Behemoth. Get the Behemoth back. Bobby's gonna think here. Then use Brain Control. And summon Luster Dragon. But the opponent is going to Bottomless. And instead they're going to drop a Sylphid. I believe that would have been game if they didn't have the Bottomless, but it is what it is. Oh, they also had the Sakura's armor, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Just tickle them a little bit with the 1000 attack Twin-Headed Behemoth. Ooh, and it's looking like dangerous hand. And then of course we saw the usual method for summoning Fusilier. And Phoenix, definitely something you don't want to draw in this scenario. And yep, activated the compulsory, so that is going to be game. Then we go on because it is now a bracket reset. So whoever wins this match is going to be the winner of the tournament overall. Starting off with an Upstart Goblin. And yet another cheese set. Pot of Greed. Ooh, into another Dirty Duo in the hand, but we got first a Luster Dragon, which is going to get banished. And then we're going to banish their monster and no one to cross out. All 3 copies of Dekoichi. And then Delinquent Duo. Snipe the Fusilier, and then they're going to get rid of the MST. It's going to set one and end. And then Upstart Goblin. And some of the Slate Warrior, which we haven't seen much so far. Oh, and it looks like Bobby got disconnected, but is back. And we see a brain control from the opposing side, grabbing that Slate Warrior, and then tribute over for Mobius, which is real tough, but at least they have the Torrential to somewhat make up for that. But with 2 cards, they took out their opponent's whole field, which is always rough. Bringing back the Slate, and swinging in for a little bit of damage, and ending the turn. And we see aomine, or however their name is pronounced, bring out Thousand Eyes Restrict. Attempts to swing in for the second turn, but MST is going to destroy the equipped monster, and thus 0 damage will be dealt. Monster gets set. And then Brain Control is going to take away the Thousand Eyes Restrict, using its effect to suck up the X-Head Cannon. And then Hand of Nethys drops down, going to tribute away, clearing their opponent's field just like they had cleared theirs previous, and bring out the Sacred Phoenix of Nethys. Followed up with a Sylphid. And swing in for a massive amount of damage, leaving their opponent with only 300 life points left. And they drew a Premature Burial, which is curtains for them. So we're going into the second game. If Bobby wins this game, then they will have won the final match of the tournament and earn themselves the title of Iron Chef of Go Format. And then aomine set 1 card and disconnected, and then Bobby momentarily disconnected. And as we will see, they unfortunately did not come back after 5 minutes, which caused them to fully disconnect. And by the rules of the tournament, any online Go Format tournament, unfortunately that is a game loss for their opponent, because otherwise they could attempt to manipulate the system and say, oh, well, I had a bad hand, so, I mysteriously disconnected and now I didn't get a game loss. Not saying that's what their opponent did, but that's the reason why the rule exists. So unfortunately, that is a game loss and a total match loss for their opponent. And that means Bobby Bodega takes it all in the Iron Chef Go Format. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll have the decks for you up next. Alright, and to finish our coverage here, we have the top 4 deck lists of the tournament. And we're going to be starting from the 4th place up to the 1st. And to start us off, we have TKGriffiths' deck, which was called 60 Strike Pack. It's a sort of Pac-Man deck, but 60 card and also utilizes the Strike Ninja engine and has BLS in there for good measure. Thought it was a very interesting deck. It's pretty much like a mashup good stuff 60 card deck. Very cool to see in the tournament, and also cool to see that they did so well with it despite playing a 60 card deck. Great work by TKGriffiths. Next up, we have the 3rd place deck, which is by Nova. It was called Goblin Army, and I think you can see why. We've got the Goblin Attack Force, Giant Orc, and Toon Goblin Attack Force with backup cards of Skill Drain and Final Attack Orders, although Skill Drain does conflict a bit with the Breaker and the DD Assailants, which lose their effect and will not be able to use them when Skill Drain's on the field. Yes, DD Assailant can't use its effect while Skill Drain is active. But we also see, of course, the Toon Table of Contents to search out the Toon Goblin Attack Force, and a bunch of spell trap removal, as well as, of course, the Solemn Judgments to protect their monsters and their spells and traps. Just keep on the Goblin train going and going. Second place here, we have aomine, or not aomine, or however their name is pronounced. I apologize if that's not correct. And their deck was quite simply just called Machine. We see here that they've got the Machine package here with Jinzo, Dekoichi, the Blowback Dragons, 2 of the Roulette Barrels, and 2 X-Head Cannons, as well as, of course, a limiter removal just for good measure. And then we've got some interesting cards on the side, including a 4-star Ladybug of Doom, which is something you really don't see that often. And of course, we also saw the Rivalry of Warlords come in for 2 of the games at least. And of course, you can see that they have a Metamorphosis package to be able to go into Thousand Eyes Strict, or any number of other monsters that they may be running. It was a very good attempt by their opponent, and very unfortunate that the final match had to end the way that it did. Would have been great to see them actually play it out, but unfortunately, there wasn't really much we could do. I mean, if we allow people to just be able to reconnect and play, then there are going to be bad actors, unfortunately, who will take advantage of that in the future. So again, I don't think that they were attempting to cheat, but at the same time, we can't really do anything about that. So anyway, going on to the 1st place winner. Very impressive run by Bobby Bodega, only defeated once, which was by aomine in the finals. And their deck was titled Warrior Wednesday. And as you can see, it is a warrior beatdown, or rather a wind beatdown deck with some warriors thrown in there. We've got the Sasuke Samurai number 4, the regular Sasuke, which destroys face-down monsters when it attacks, as well as the triple Luster Dragon, number 2, Luster Dragon, and Slate Warrior, and a whole bunch of cards to help them just beat down their opponents, as well as, of course, the Trap Dust Shoots. And we even see that they were playing the Blowbacks on the side, and Spear Dragon, of all things, and a second coin toss as well. Very good work by Bobby Bodega. I think they've won in the series of chef challenges that I ran on the Go Format Europe Discord as well. Very great to see them being a 2-time Iron Chef. Thank you very much for everyone for watching, and thank you very much to all the participants. I plan on having another one of these probably in December. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. If you're watching this around the time that I upload it, then also I'm going to be having a hindsight format tournament on the Casual Go Format Europe Discord. And then on the 24th, I'm going to be running Goat Commander, which I think is something that a lot of people are going to be really excited for. It's a really interesting Highlander format that's very similar to the Magic the Gathering Go format. I'll have a video on that closer to the start date of the tournament. But again, thank you very much and have a nice day.